Welcome, official. Um, we're just very happy you're here, and congratulations for giving yourself this time. And if you're here, you're supposed to be here. I like that. It comes from, well, it comes from a lot of people, but Michael's been touting that a lot lately. If you're in the circle, if you're here, you're supposed to be here. And I suggested that you have your own print. Now, the last one here, Labyrinth Journey app by Mount Mojo, I used it this morning because it was kind of cold. The little the little icon. Let's see. I mean, it opens up to this. It's an actual labyrinth. There you go, Carolyn. And when you walk, then your path changes colors. And you're in for a very happy surprise when you get to the center and then when you finally exit. And you can't go back. I mean, it's easy to keep your where you are on the walk. Keep track of where you are on the walk. If you'd like that, it's free. I have communicated with those people. I did discover that the inventor of it is the son of a labyrinth facilitator in Australia. So it makes sense that I felt comfortable and they responded. All right. So I love to start with Christine Walters Paintner, and this is where we've been, especially for the last 2 months, maybe. We might think of winter as the season of entering into the gifts of earth and her stillness. After moving through autumn's release and surrender, winter enters a profound time of silence, darkness, rest, and incubation. And I think some of us might still be doing some incubating in the next few months. But this, to me, when I read this today at least, or this past week, that's where we've been. And where we're going is what many other festivals of light have celebrated and are celebrating. I mean, starting in November in India, we're in Hanukkah right now. Um, they're just St. Lucy's Day. That's the one that actually kind of scares me. That's where the kids they wear a they wear candles on their head, you know, and
Yeah,
it
like a
just makes me,
crown of candles.
yeah, thank you. That was the word I couldn't
Yeah.
find. Crown. But it makes me so nervous because I can just imagine hair. Of course, I guess these days they're battery operated candles, but anyway. Um, France has a feast, Berlin has a feast. Kwanzaa's is a little, it's not so much the light as I want to call it the light within, the characteristics that we need to build a good society. So that's what's happening with all of us. And Christine Walters Paintner, again, she just always speaks to me at these cross quarter days and solstices and equinoxes. In her book Sacred Time, Embracing an Intentional Way of Life, she says, I've discovered tremendous grace from the simple act of paying attention through the year. Paying attention. And slowly cultivating a deep trust of these fundamental rhythms of nature. Fundamental. This birth, which we're heading towards now, and the adult fruition and making new seeds and then kind of harvesting and going into quiet time, and death. Birth, life, death, and then resurrection will happen. Birth happens again. It happens. It's a fundamental rhythm of nature, and we're called as part of nature to have trust in those rhythms. Excuse me. And one more from her. Earth and her creatures teach us how to pray, how to worship and praise, but only if we listen and pay attention to their rhythms in this world. And she asks, Can you see how the fundamental rhythms of dawn and dusk and light and dark, which is what we're most concerned with today, reveal Earth as the original Earth as the original liturgy? Have you thought of Earth as a liturgy? So let's do yoga. Let's do one pose. That's all I'm asking. It doesn't have to be beautiful because trust me, my ankle may not want to bend in that way. So we're going to approximate this and we're going to think about as our feet ground down, we're going to share the energy of the earth and let it enter through our feet. Our legs are strong and support us with steadiness. And as you reach up, look up with your eyes, don't crane your neck. Look up with your eyes and then open your heart to the sky and you'll be welcoming light. So let's just try the chair pose. I'm going to do one thing back here. Okay. So, well, I don't know how you're going to see me or if you'll even see me, but you probably don't need to. You've got that nice little picture there. You basically squat and you, as much as your ankles and knees allow, and then your arms are up and your eyes are up. So feel the earth supporting you. Oh, take a little wiggle. And, oops, no craning of the neck. Feel this connection to the light that will be increasing. Breathe in. Feel your heart open. Breathe in with your nose and out with your mouth. One more. And then maybe just, yeah. Thank you for joining me on that. The chair pose. So we are earthlings connecting and welcoming the light. And tonight I'm going to do a little bit, well, it's different material than I've used before. Before we get started on this part, because now we're really going into our ritual, our learning and ritual, I'm going to light a candle. And if you have your own, you're welcome to light yours. You don't need to. This will be for all of us, our circle. And we're welcoming the light and feeding ourselves with light. And remembering that original big breath, some people say big bang, that original energy is in us, is making us. That original energy is with us and in us. When light becomes frozen, it becomes matter. But we're really energy. We're still light. We're just frozen light. Kind of like that image too. So, I want to share, I was telling Nathan before you all came, I've known about Jan Richardson for a long time, for years, and I just never, I would hear her when I was in a circle and someone opened with her work. She's a poet, and somebody sent a poem this past week that I thought, oh, I need to really investigate this lady. She really spoke to me. So I bought 2 of her books, and I'm pulling from How the Stars Get in Your Bones. Don't you just love that title? I do. A Book of Blessings. And there are two I want to share with you. And this is from the chapter that's called And the Table Will Be Wide, Blessings of Welcome. So I want to think of us as welcoming light. We're going to be with, some of us will be with family and welcoming family. And okay, so I want to start with those stars that turn in us. Those stars that turn in us. And I chose, usually I give you the words, but this time I chose to just read it. So you might want to close your eyes. I do not know how to keep it all together, or by what patterns this world might finally hold. What I know is our hearts are bigger than this sky that wheels above us. And what shines through all this darkness shines through us, setting every shattered thing into a new constellation. And we can turn our faces to that light, to the grace of those stars that turn in us. The next piece I want to share is called Constellation. Consider that the heart holds its own constellation. Consider that it has a secret chamber radiant with unspent light. Consider this: when you cannot find that one star, that dream that compels you to the road, when every last thing seems to have disappeared into dark, consider that you cannot always know how you bear this brightness, but that it holds you and is not wasted or lost. See how we share this sky, how it stretches above us beyond every border, how every day turns each of us in steady revolution through morning, night, morning again. Or think of it like this, that every heart has its own harbor, sending its vessels out, drawing them back again, never by the same way they went, but still somehow making for home, that place that shimmers now in welcome with all the gathered light you had thought you could not see. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed those. Thank you. We're not quite ready to start walking just yet, but our music is going to be some George Winston, Joy, and I'm new to this woman, Michelle McLaughlin, beautiful pianist, and she calls this one Winter Solstice, and then go back to George Winston and Rest Your Head. And that'll take us a little more than 10 minutes, or right around there. But first, I want to begin with a land acknowledgement. And you can probably tell by some of the comments I've already made that that when I acknowledge land, I will come down eventually to this ground I'm standing on. But I want to start with where we came from, because that's our original story. And I like to do it this way because I learned from Diane Longboat, Kahuntakwas, the Mohawk Nation Turtle Clan elder, that an invocation of thanks should be done before anything important is started. And I think walking the labyrinth and joining in that morphic field our ancestors are creating and have created, joining in that is important. Remembering the rhythms of the earth from which we came is important. And then I also learned from Robin Wall Kimmerer, wonderful woman, mother, plant ecologist, writer, and State University of New York distinguished teaching professor at the SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry in Syracuse. She serves as the founding director of the Center of Native Peoples and the Environment, and she teaches about kinship, K-I-N, kinship. And she says it begins with paying attention. This is the second time we've heard about paying attention to rhythms, and now she's talking about paying attention to all the more than human beings all around us. When we do this, we develop a gift thinking, seeing how truly blessed we are. That leads us to gratitude and thinking of these beings as our kin, our relatives. And many indigenous people even speak of the tree people. And they use, the river she called me, it's beautiful. Therefore, we want to pay more attention to them. And the beautiful cycle continues. We pay more attention, we feel more grateful, we are blessed. I think this is what the earth needs now. So I just, when I learned this from her, I was very happy. Now, because labyrinths are connected to both place, this earth, and the entire universe, and people, one another, in this circle, we want to deepen this connection and now begin by walking the first path with an attitude of gratitude. The first path of creation spirituality is the path of awe and wonder and gratefulness. And so I honor the cosmos, 13.81 billion years old. The observable universe is 93 billion light years across, constantly expanding at a speed that exceeds the speed of light. Our common story is very big and very old, very wise, and very, very creative. I honor our container, our context, our cosmos. And now if you choose to stand up and move around, I'm going to call some directions, starting with northeast, southwest, above, below, within. And I learned that from my friend Judy, whose Cherokee grandfather taught her. I honor our home, our matrix. The Thanksgiving address of the Mohawks says, "Let us put our minds together as one and send greetings and thanks to our Mother Earth who sustains our lives with her many gifts." When I look north to the earth of which I'm made, I thank you, Earth. When I look east to the air within my lungs, I thank you, air. Please breathe with me. again, and we remember this connection of our feet with the earth and the air all around us. When I look south to the warmth of the sacrificing sun that enables photosynthesis of plants, I thank you, sun. When I look west to water, without which we would die, I thank you, water. The stars above me provided the dust which formed the calcium of my bones. Thank you, stars. The minerals, microbes, and mycelial systems beneath me provide unseen grounding and essential communication. Thank you, foundation. The soul within me yearns to acknowledge and come into balance with the web of which I am just a tiny part. I am so grateful. I honor the plant beings and animal beings. I honor indigenous peoples before we begin, for their memory is the correct starting point for human history on earth. They were the original custodians of this land. They held ceremony for eons. And here in central Virginia, in the eastern foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, that biosphere, I honor the Monacans, the largest tribe in Virginia today. I regret that you had to fight in U.S. courts to define your ancestral homeland. Thank you for your wisdom. I hold the deepest gratitude and respect for the wisdom of all of our indigenous neighbors, past, present, and emerging. I honor this Blue Ridge ecoregion. You can honor the regions you live in and the tribes whose land you're on. Diane Shields is the current tribal chief of this Monacan Indian nation. I invite the ancestral spirits of all of us to guard and bless this circle, this walk. I invite the angels of light to safeguard all of us and all seekers everywhere. I thank the great mystery who conceived this, who became this, and who remains with us. We are so grateful. And so I have another Jan Richardson I want to leave you with before we start the walk. Before I read this, everybody has a labyrinth, right? I'm going to use my newest handheld labyrinth, which is actually wood. Veritas had an auction, and I was lucky. I do love it. So what I'm suggesting is before you start, and you can see me do this, let your hands, whatever kind of labyrinth you're using, circle it. I do that on my phone with the Labyrinth Journey app whenever I use it, which these days is in the morning. And respond, let your heart respond to the diversity and awe of all the creation around us. And then as we enter, we're going to release any judgments and prejudgments we have. This is maybe for us the path to the negativa. And if we have pain, if we're holding on to pain, and today we're celebrating Blue Christmas because we're engulfed by grief, then you can actually cry. You can release some of that if you choose to. And if that isn't present on your heart and mind right now, what you can do is just enter that silence and just be. Just be. When you reach the center that can be where the via creativa takes over, and you listen to the calling you're receiving about your role in creating, co-creating this universe. We started by saying it's still expanding, it's getting bigger, and we're determining part of its direction. And our voice, our work, our creativity is necessary. It will not be the same if we don't allow our call to manifest, if we don't do our work, which could be being joyful and spreading the light and joy to those around us. And then on the way out, transformativa. How are we going to incorporate what we've learned, what we've absorbed? So that's what I suggest. Okay, let me read this to you. This is from a different book. She calls it Circle of Grace, a book of blessings for the seasons. And I have to just, where the light begins. Perhaps it does not begin. Perhaps it is always. Perhaps it takes a lifetime to open our eyes, to learn to see what has forever shimmered in front of us. The luminous line of the map in the dark, the vigil flame in the house of the heart, the love so searing we cannot keep from singing, from crying out in testimony and praise. Perhaps this day will be the mountain over which the dawn breaks. Perhaps we will turn our face toward it, toward what has been always. Perhaps our eyes will finally open in ancient recognition, willingly dazzled, illuminated at last. Perhaps this day the light begins in us. Have a good walk. I want to leave you with this one. Blessed are you who bear the light. Or maybe it's blessed. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance amid the unendurable, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, an altar where in the deepest night can be seen the fire that shines forth in you, in unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illumines every broken thing it finds. That also was Jan Richardson from her book In Circle, Circle of Grace, a book of blessings for the seasons. So we are going to share a little bit. What I want to do this because I often run out of time or forget to do it. Save the date for the next time. The next date on the Celtic calendar of holy days is Imbolc. It's the midwinter cross-quarter day, which is halfway between now, this December solstice, and the March equinox. Now, it falls on Sunday, February 1st, but because CSC, Creation Spirituality Communities, celebrates First Sunday then, we'll be here on Monday, February 2nd at 4:30. So we'll celebrate it on Monday the 2nd, 4:30 Eastern Time. And you register it the way you registered for this one. You get the link at that cscommunities.org/events, and you can find it on the if you're a member, and you can be a member for free, you can find it on the February calendar. Now, Nathan, I know we have other important things coming up. Would you like to plug those?
Sure. We have a great offering that is aimed at children, especially, and I'm just going to post the link here in the chat called We All Contain a Spark. That is our next course offering in January. It will start mid-January, I think, and it goes for 6 weeks. So check that out. It might be a great thing to share with grandchildren or nieces, nephews, other young people in your life.
I was looking. I don't have that date, but that's okay. And we're gonna go. We're Theodore's course is going to be on hold.
Yes, he contacted me and asked us to reschedule.
Okay, because when that comes up, reimagine. I really think you would love it. I did
Yes.
a version of it last summer with him. He's a student of Matt Fox and Brian Swim and has a lot to offer. And we have 8 of these labyrinth walks in a year, and we have first Sundays, we have first Thursdays. And there you'll find global kinship, global dreaming, cosmic vespers, and one labyrinth walk falls on a Thursday. Pascal walk we're doing that very much familiar with this life, death, rebirth we've talked about today. Now, does anybody want to share anything from the walk, or do you have any questions or anything?
I've tried 4 times to put you on my calendar for February 2nd, and it just won't do it. So I'll have to remember it.
I'm sure you'll get a blurb from Nathan.
Yep.
Um, my calendar has a different way of doing it. Like I'm used to going to the date, say February 2nd. And when I put in the event, it'll be on today, December 21st. So I have to change the date. It's just another new little blurb. Any questions or comments, Lee? Anything you want to ask or say?
Just gratitude. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening practice, and it's so helpful in my healing. So thank you again and again.
You're most welcome. I hope this week
Thank you
goes
for
well
joining
for
us.
you. Yeah, thanks. We sometimes, this is the smallest circle I think we
Yeah.
get. And sometimes we have more people, and Nathan assures me that a lot of people look at the YouTube. I just trust you. I don't ever check that,
Yeah,
Nathan.
they do. A lot of people will rewatch the recordings or watch the
Well,
video.
it's a disappointment to me though because it's such a rich offering,
Yeah.
and there really ought to be a lot of people here, and it just means people aren't. I don't know. We need to somehow. I mean, it's adequately. I mean, we know it's there, but somehow we need to support it better.
I think this is just a hard time of the year to get anything.
I think you're right. I think people are busy.
Well, true, but a solstice ritual is really important.
Yeah.
Which means, I mean, we're all supposed. This is the time to do our 12 days of turning. If you're gonna do Roxanne's 21st through January 1st, 12 days of turning,
Oh,
which I find to
good.
be very rich.
So, Lee, you might be interested in First Sundays. There, it's
Well, I don't know that we'll be doing that at First Sundays, but my point is, if you're gonna do that ritual, today's when you start, and it's a kind of a lot of work because you got to get you got to get your 12 candles, you got to get your theme, you have to get your cards going, you have to decide how you're going to do your poetry, and but it's such a rich thing to do, and I think you get a lot more out of it than you put into it. Kind of like this.
thank you, dear. This year I'm doing a cosmic Advent wreath, which I got from Diza and Sisters of the Earth last year, and the first candle's blue for the birth of the universe, and the second candle's green for the birth of the solar system, and the third is red for the birth of the Christ, the cosmic Christ, and then the fourth is amber for your birth. So it's just a different take on it. It's nice. And the white one in the middle is for Christmas. Yeah. Anyway. Well, then I think, do you feel complete? Are we ready to go our ways? And you're going to just sing the Messiah, Carolyn? That's wonderful.
All with everybody else. I've never done a sing along before, but today we are, so that'll be interesting.
We'll have fun. Well, I hope I get to meet Harold some other time.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised you did. It's kind of a new thing, so
Sure, sure
hard
it
to
is.
show up on Zoom if you don't know. And if there's only 5 people, it's even more like, ah!
Yeah, he may have left.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he showed up, but that's not
Yeah,
surprising. Yeah,
yeah.
so
Well, this is an important week for a lot of people. Have a wonderful week. Have
All right.
a
Thank you all.
make space
it
for
was a
quiet times.
beautiful, beautiful